Batman Superman World's Finest issue 5, Mark Waid and Dan Mora writing. Sorry,
God for Dan Mora.
Dan Mora on art, I should say, yes. Dan Mora art is magnifico.
I did see. I read a Jerry Duggan graphic novel last week. But in his like little kind of thing at the back, he kind of put it as, for comics, the writer only tells the story to one person. They tell the story to the artist, and then the artist tells the story to everyone else. I thought that was a really good way of putting it, to kind of highlight the importance of a good artist on a book. Beyond just it looking good, it being about their ability to visually tell the story.
Yeah, there's some interesting concepts in this issue. This is the end of the arc. This is the end of this arc where they're dealing with the demon Neza. And I actually really like because the big cliffhanger last issue, which you weren't here for when we talked about this issue, is that, okay, we can seal Neza in this tomb, and this is like the magical orb thing we got from the past to do it. The problem is that you have to seal it from the inside, so someone effectively has to sacrifice themselves to seal them for good. And it's like, okay, right, how do we solve that pickle? And the first half of this issue, well, maybe the first third, is like, basically everyone fighting over who's going to sacrifice. And Superman's like, I'll do it, and Batman's like, no, I'll do it because you're weak to magic. And then Supergirl's like, I should do it. And then Doom Patrol like, we're the expendable. The world needs Superman and Batman. Like, we're the Doom Patrol. It's kind of in the name, Doom. Like, this is up our alley. And then of course Neza shows up, and there's fights. Supergirl kind of breaks the news that Robin got lost in time, and I really enjoyed the art of like her sadness. I like Supergirl being such a major character in this. Actually, it's kind of nice because Supergirl's not got a book right now, so it's just nice to have a healthy dose of her somewhere. The big thing of this though is we get a lot of fighting with Neza. He takes over Superman at one point, so we get Superman versus Supergirl. He takes over Elastigirl at one point, and we get her crushing Batman with her hand, and so it turns out Robot Man goes up and punches him, and it dazes him, and his hold over Superman finally breaks. And what they deduce from this is that Neza like can't be affected by anything that exists, but that was when he was last out in the world, hundreds of years ago. That doesn't count for new things like, robotic technology. And when Batman hears this, he pulls out some fancy gauntlet things. He's like, okay, this is some new shit I made. Right, this will keep him off his game for a bit.
The stuff here with Nezha, it's just amazing. But like instead, like because they talk about how Nezha, he'll learn, but
it's pretty amazing, yeah.
You get one use of the new thing, and he'll learn about it, and you got to find something else. And it's like, okay, so it's could just use the Mesa for this.
I do actually. I think it's because they might do some of their own stuff, and they're probably maybe setting up Neza for.
We know they are. Yeah.
So, but what I liked about the resolution to this is that Superman goes and gets the Phantom Zone gun, right? And he sends them out of the Phantom Zone, which they think, okay, that's a temporary fix. But then Neza starts breaking out immediately. And it's like, shit, okay. So Superman just grabs the magic orb thing. He's going to trap himself in the tomb with Neza. But I actually really like the little trick here. The resolution is that because Neza ripped his way out the Phantom Zone, that tear's still there. So Superman inside the tomb puts himself in the Phantom Zone and then comes out through the rip to the loophole. It's a literal loophole to get out of the tomb. I actually thought that was nicely set up and made a reasonable amount, in comic book logic, it made a reasonable amount of sense to me.
It made as much sense as anything possibly can, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, that's good. And I like the camaraderie where he's like, I had to count on Batman noticing something. That's not like...
Not a gamble, it's a plan.
That's a plan, yeah. I was like, okay, that's a neat little line, and yeah, I enjoyed the resolution to this. I did. Robin's still missing, and that's going to be the next issue, is them going to try to find Robin, presumably, so... Because I can't just leave him lost in time for obvious reasons.
Yeah, there's a little like epilogue page, which is set. It says years later. I'm assuming it's more present day, because it's what I'm assuming is Damien.
Oh, it's definitely Damien. Yeah, because the solicit for this miniseries that's coming up said Damien.
Oh, is that Damien in that? Yeah, okay. Well, it looked like Damien with that outfit.
Because it confused me when the solicit came out and it was like, oh, it's going to be the spinning out of World's Finest, but it's Batman versus Damien. And I was like, wait, what? How is this versus Damien? There's nothing in that book that's remotely Damien related.
No, it's just this Nezha is the link, right?
Yeah, and it turns out this buried tomb is actually on Lazarus Island. That's the link.
Which makes sense because we saw all this Neja stuff started in
Robin,
in Robin, right at the end of the Lazarus tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if it started, but like it was mentioned in Robin at some point, and we went, "Oh, Neza!" They just brought that up again.
I think it was. I feel like it was started in Robin, then it came into here, and I could be the wrong way around that. The one where it just like mentioned it randomly was in the middle of Shadow War. And I think that was maybe in like the Batman issue of that where they mentioned it, and we were like, "Oh, okay." They're kind of setting it up elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, regardless, like obviously, I'm excited to see what he does with like a more present day story. Mark Waid, of course, had never gotten to write Damien, I don't think, before, because he's obviously not been at DC for a while. So,
I don't think so.
Should be interested to see his take on him. And I've enjoyed this arc, and I think it's probably gotten stronger as this went along. By and large, I think there was maybe some setup issues. There was a lot of stuff to like kind of get going at the start of the arc, but I really like the wrap up of this.
Yeah, I've not been as hot on it as you have. I've found the plot to be kind of just okay at best, and that's probably true here as well. But in a lot of ways, this is probably the strongest issue because it's mostly action, I would say, in this issue. Because this is, the big conclusion fight, and Dan Mora is an absolutely phenomenal artist. So an issue of Dan Mora fight scenes is, that's nothing to complain about. Even if, it kind of doesn't matter what the plot is at that point, I will read an issue of Dan Mora fight scenes.
Yeah, and like I say, I liked a lot of the logic in this issue, and when they're rushing over to the tear, when Batman realizes what Superman's crazy plan is to get back out of the real world, I love that it's actually the negative man's spirit that goes over and sort of holds it open. It's like, it's a really cool visual. It kind of makes sense in some level that could maybe hold it open for a bit. Where human hands probably couldn't, or even superhuman hands, but negative man's spirit, because of what it's made of, and it's like a type of energy or whatever. I'm like, again, on a comic book level, there's some logic to this for me. This just clicking together.
The most important thing, though, is that it just looks good.
It looks good, yes. It does look good. So, very neat. And it's like, let's go get Robin next time. So, yeah, cool. And I'm getting another Mark Waid book out of it as well, which I'm obviously pleased by. So, that's good stuff. What are you giving World's Finest?
I'll probably give it a 7, because I think it's a pretty by the numbers kind of just plot, but just with gorgeous art, which makes it worth reading.
Sure. I'll go with a solid 8. I was tempted to go maybe a notch higher, but I'll go with the 8. I think Mora's art's great. I do think there's a couple of faces in this one that are a bit on the long side. Just one or two. But I mean, generally speaking, it looks like Dan Mora art though, which is a good thing.
Also, he might draw my favorite Supergirl.
Oh, that's fair.
I think she looks fantastic every time he draws her.
To be honest, like I've really liked his Supergirl. I've liked his Doom Patrol characters because maybe it's just because the characters we don't get to see as often. So just getting a good artist on them is just a nice treat.
It's a little bit rarer than just you get a good artist on Superman and Batman pretty regularly because they attract top tier talent.
Yeah. Plus they have like 3 books every week, so you get multiple chances a week to get a good bit of art on them.
Yeah.
Especially Batman. So.
Especially Batman.